So, you know what's wild? My buddy just joined the Jesuit priesthood. And no, this isn't the setup to a priest walks into a bar joke, although honestly, that would probably be less shocking than what I'm about to tell you. All right, folks, so I just learned something about the vow of poverty. Now, I thought I knew what poverty was. I've eaten ramen noodles for dinner before, pretty recently, in fact. I've checked my bank account and immediately closed the app like I never saw it. I've done the mental gymnastics with, if I don't pay this bill, then what's gonna happen kind of questions. And I have lived, personally, at truly poverty levels. But this is a whole different beast. So my friend hits me and my family up with this update of what he can and can't have now that he's going full Jesuit. And let me tell you, the man is about to live a life that makes minimalism look like an episode of Cribs. He's allowed to enter the priesthood with whatever fits in a suitcase. One suitcase, that's it. Not even a carry-on and a checked bag, just one suitcase. Now, I don't know about you, but I can barely pack for a 3-day trip in one suitcase, and this man is packing for the rest of his life. Let's talk about playing Tetris with all your worldly goods. Now, from this point on, here's what he gets. A small monthly stipend, and when I say small, I think he mentioned like $40 a month. That's less than most people spend on their coffee. Hell, that's less than I spend trying to convince myself I'm going to start meal prepping. The organization gives him a cell phone, but plot twist, he doesn't own it. It's like being on your parents' phone plan, except it's Jesus who's paying the bill. He gets clothing, but not new clothing. We're talking thrift store chic, but without the ironic hipster element. This is genuine, someone else wore this first, second, and possibly third territory. Oh, and housing? It's provided. Healthcare provided, meals provided. It's like being on the ultimate all-inclusive resort package, except instead of lounging by the pool, you're doing missionary work in places where they definitely don't have pools. But here's where it gets really interesting. His family asked if he could visit them on vacation. Maybe they're going to the beach, maybe they're doing a family reunion, whatever. And technically, yes, he can visit, but he can't accept their travel or accommodations as a gift. So they can't fly him out. They can't book him a hotel room. There are apparently donation mechanisms that can get him to some places, but once he's there, he's got to stay at whatever religious facility is nearby. So no Marriott points being redeemed for this guy. And gifts? Forget about it. Even if you give him something, it goes to the organization. You could give him the new iPhone, but it becomes community property faster than you can say, find my iPhone. There is no sneaking any personal benefit to him. No slipping him a 50 under the table. No, here's a gift card, don't tell anyone. The system is airtight. It's like financial witness protection, but completely voluntary. Now, when he first told us all this, my jaw was on the floor. I was thinking, why would anyone sign up for this? I mean, we live in a world where people are out there grinding for that next promotion, that salary bump, building their investment portfolio, trying to retire by 40. And this guy just said, nah, I'm good with a few bucks a month and some hand-me-down pants. But then something clicked in my mind, and I mean it really clicked. This man just solved every financial problem most of us will spend our entire lives trying to figure out. Think about it. No mortgage, no rent, no wondering if you can afford that unexpected car repair, no lying awake at 3 a.m. doing mental math about your 401k, no student loan payments, no health insurance premiums, your housing, it's sorted, your clothing, handled, your food covered, healthcare, done, retirement, yeah, totally taken care of. The church will take care of him. They're already caring for a retired priest right now. He will never have to panic about outliving his savings or ending up eating cat food in his 80s because Social Security ran out. This dude just opted out of the entire anxiety-inducing hamster wheel that the rest of us are currently running on. And let's be honest, most of us are running on that wheel hard. We are out there working jobs we tolerate so we can pay for houses we're barely in because we're always at those jobs. We're stressed about affording healthcare, saving for retirement, building an emergency fund that can cover a few months of expenses, which, by the way, who actually has that? My friend, my buddy, he's got zero of those concerns, none. He doesn't have to worry about market crashes or inflation or high interest rates or whether his company is going to downsize. He doesn't have to calculate if he's saving enough or if he should be investing differently or if he's going to have enough to retire with dignity. It's like he hit the ultimate cheat code. And I'm not even being sarcastic. The man has found the one way to completely bypass the financial anxiety phase that plagues basically everyone in the modern world. Now, don't get me wrong. The work he's doing, it's not for me. I'm not about to take a vow of chastity. I enjoy my creature comforts. I like owning stuff. I like experiencing things. I'm not trying to share my phone with an organization or get approval before buying a sandwich. But you have to admit, there's something almost beautiful about the simplicity of it all. the guarantee of it, the security. It's like having the world's most comprehensive insurance policy. You will never be homeless. You will never go hungry. You will never be without medical care. You will always have what you need. There's a freedom in that, isn't there? A freedom that we don't really have anymore. Because here's the thing, this used to be kind of normal, not the religious part necessarily, but the security part. Our grandparents' generation would get a job at a company and that was it. They worked for 40 years, got a pension, got a gold watch, rode off into comfortable retirements. The company took care of you. You didn't have to become a financial expert or day trade or have a side hustle or build personal brands. You just showed up, did your job, and the company handled the rest. But those days are gone. Gone. Totally gone. Now we're all independent contractors in the gig economy. Even when we have real jobs, companies don't offer pensions anymore. They offer 401ks, which is just a fancy way of saying here's a tax-advantaged account where you can gamble your future on the stock market if you're smart enough to actually put something in there. Job security is a myth. Benefits get cut. Healthcare is tied to employment, but employment is at will. It's a whole mess. So when I look at what my friend is doing, yeah, it's extreme. It's not for everyone, but he's found something that most of us are desperately searching for: certainty. He knows where he'll sleep tonight, next month, and 30 years from now. He knows he'll eat. He knows if he gets sick, someone will take care of him. He knows that when he's old and can't work anymore, he won't be abandoned. And how many of us can actually say that? How many of us have that kind of guarantee? Here's the question I can't stop thinking about, and I want you to really sit with this one. If there were more options like this, would you take it? Not necessarily the religious life, but imagine if there was a deal on the table. You commit to something, an organization, a company, a community, whatever, and in exchange, they'll provide everything for you from cradle to grave: housing, food, clothing, healthcare, retirement, all of it, guaranteed. You don't own much, but you never have to worry. Would you take that deal? Would you trade ownership and accumulation for security and simplicity? Drop a comment and let me know, because I'm genuinely curious. In a world where we're all one medical emergency or one layoff away from financial disaster, how many of us would actually choose the certainty of being taken care of over the freedom of being on our own? And look, I'm not saying my friend found the answer to life, the universe, and everything else, although in his mind, I think he has. But he definitely found an answer. He found a way to opt out of the financial stress Olympics that the rest of us are still competing in. And honestly, I kind of respect that. The man looked at modern life, looked at the financial treadmill that we're all on, and said, no thanks, I'll take door number 2. Meanwhile, the rest of us are out there trying to budget for avocado toast while simultaneously saving for retirement. We're trying to afford rent in cities where a studio apartment costs more than a small country's GDP. We're playing financial Jenga, carefully removing one expense here and adding another there, hoping the whole thing doesn't collapse. But my friend, he's playing a different game entirely, and maybe, just maybe, he's winning. So the next time you're lying awake at night, stress eating cookies while scrolling through your bank app, remember that somewhere out there's a guy in a hand-me-down shirt with $100 to his name who's sleeping like a baby, because he knows no matter what happens, he's covered. And if that's not the ultimate plot twist, I don't know what is. All right, Panda Nation, that's all I've got for you today. So give it a think and seriously drop a comment with your answer. Would you take that deal? Peter Von Panda, out.